Hi, I'm Annette from the Woolen Needle. I'm going to talk to you, give you a couple tips for the Woolie Christmas Gnomes that we're doing. Here's the pattern that's going to be out, and has your instructions, a photo, and a layout page on this pattern. I want to tell you a little bit about the Applique mat, which is very handy for when you are fusing your shapes together. You can lay your Applique mat over top of your layout, which you have a full layout for the gnome. And then when you start putting it together, you can place everything in place. I've already done my accent stitching on my hat, so that was done and out of the way for me. Just kind of, I can see the lines underneath. I have a tip about these little fringy cotton balls. Something you do need to know. Well, let me give you that tip now. When you fuse your shape to your cotton batting, you will then go in and snip in with little snips around the batting. Gently pull the edges, and then you'll get a more beard-like appearance, so it won't be cut exactly like a straight edge. That makes them a little bit fun. So just kind of pull the fringe or the cotton out, and you can trim it if you want to. So now his beard has this ruffled edge to give it a little character. So this is going to go up underneath his hat right there on his tummy. His nose tucks under the hat also. When you're stitching across this edge of the hat, that is the only place that nose gets stitched down. So be sure you stitch through all the layers to hold his nose on. I've done some accent stitching again on the sleeves. You can see the lines, they just tuck in under like that. And there's the other sleeve. So he's coming into shape there. So there's a little ball for the hat. His boots go down here on the bottom. Just barely tuck that under, so it will make contact when we fuse it. This one tucks under there also. Get my nose back up. And I have the fringe for his boots made and ready. So we'll lay those on. So now, because of the use of this Applique mat, I'm going to use steam, and you can hear it steaming down, and I just hold it over, barely making contact, and then let that heat, the steam heat the fusible, and then set this down. And now that should be able to be picked up as one unit. You let your Applique mat cool a little bit, and I like to flip it over, peel from the back side. Well, his ball on his hat didn't work because I forgot to take the fusible off of it, or the paper off of it. So we'll put that on in a minute. So now you have your gnome ready to go on your background. So I have prepped my background. This finishes a 10-inch square, so I chalked a 10.5, put my base on, blanket stitched, fused my the three holly blooms. Now the little gnome will go in here like this. Let's see, I want to cover up just a little bit of that leaf on that one. Put his feet there. I think he's straight. I'm going to get my hat ball back on there. Now we will fuse him to the background. Again, I'm hovering the iron, letting the steam heat everything. I'll set it down. So now he's set in place and ready to stitch. The threads we used on this one are it's not a black, it's called licorice, so it isn't as harsh as a black. Heartbeat is our red that we used on the hat accents. We'll put French knots in the berries. I can't pronounce the name of this one, but it's a yellow-green combination. So that does your fly stitch on here, and I'll show you how to do that stitch in a minute. And then the white, I tacked these units. I did French knots in the balls, French knots through here, and just tacked the back of his beard to hold him in place. So I'm not sure how I have that fused. So I'm going to give you a little demo on the fly stitch. In your directions, I think I told you you could chalk a line down through the center of your leaf so you have a reference line. You take your top stitch, you go back to the edge, and just come back out. This is kind of a fun stitch to do. Of course, I missed the top. Okay, so then I take another second little stitch, come out really close to your edge. I'll try to do this right side up for you. So your thread is free, and you cross over to get the top on the right side. You come up at the center. When you pull this down, you're going to get your accent there. So again, you go in on your line, take a big bite underneath to the left. You have your loop of thread, again, in on the right, back out at the center. And you just do that all the way down on each one of these leaves, and that will give you your fly stitch. The other stitch over here, some people have a little trouble with French knots. I just secured these with a French knot in the center of each one of these. And because I'm only doing one, I'm going to wrap this 3 times. You wrap it 3 times, go back down and through. And now the berry is secured. It's a very fun, quick project to do. And here's another instance where I forgot to take the paper off. So that beard isn't going to stick until I do that. We'll give that another try and see if that works. There, he's secured down. So that's going to be a fun project when he's done. Here's a photo of kind of what it turns out like. Once you get all the stitching on, this project goes together with the Woolie Christmas Gnomes by the Calico Patch Designs and Woolie Friends. There's a project that comes out every week. Fun to do. Enjoy.